And in the Tyson camp, the term sparring may be a misnomer because everyone is instructed to go all out.
I tell them to go hard. I want you to go out there and fight them. You fight them for 2, 3 rounds, 4, 5. Some of these guys that want to go more rounds, like a Broad, or Ferguson, or whatever, or Jameson, I tell these guys to go out there and fight hard because Michael's fighting hard too.
The idea is to let them fight as hard as possible. This is a fight. You go in there and you fight as hard as possible. You know, my trainer tells them, you go in there and you fight. You fight. This is, you know, don't take it easy because he's 18 or he's 17 or he's 20. You go out there and you fight. You fight for your life. Just go out there and fight for your life. And that's just to get ready to fight. That's how come I'm always in shape, because when I fight in the gym, it's a fight. I fight.
Hands up.
And fight he does without a headgear, a somewhat radical precept passed down by Cus D'Amato.
The only time you wear headgear is if you have a problem, if there's something the matter, your ear hurts, or you got a big fight coming up and you had a cut eye, but you got a spot. A headgear gives you a false sense of security. Cus always used to say, and it's true. You put a headgear on, you think you can take a shot, you end up taking more shots because you got a headgear on. You don't have a headgear on, you don't want to get hit. Nobody wants to get hit. With a headgear, a fighter feels safe. You say, well, I can take the shot because it's going to protect me, which in the end it doesn't do anyway. So that's the reason for that. I mean, that was Cus's belief, and I was around Cus a long time, and I believe it too. And it shows.
For all his brute force, Tyson is a student of his sport. He works hard on techniques to improve himself. And then he employs them in practice. And these defensive skills have played a big role in his quick rise in boxing, but one that sometimes gets overlooked.
Mike, who has had 38 amateur fights, 28 professional fights, 56 fights, has never had a cut eye, never had a bump on his face, never had a bloody nose. No one ever comments on that. When you towel Mike Tyson off after a fight, you can't tell what his profession is.
D'Amato showed boxing people a unique way of looking at their sport, and he gained the respect and admiration of the people he worked with, including the other man he took to the heavyweight championship.
There'll never be another like Cus. Cus was #1. See, he cared about the fighter, not the money, the fighter. There's a lot of guys out there that care about the fight and the money, but a little more the money than the fighter. But Cus didn't care about money. I've seen him give thousands of dollars away. Right after a fight, sometimes I would fight, and back then I'd get maybe $15,000, and Cus, who got a third of that, a week later he had nothing.
Give me a number so I can call you. If you're available, you let me know.
I've met a lot of people, but there's only one Cus. There'll only be one Cus. I'm honored and happy that I did meet him, because he's much more than boxing. He's a person. I've never met a guy that puts principle ahead of money. You know, America is run by money. It's run by business. Is run by money. Money first. Money first. The big businessmen, they make decisions based on money. How much? Cus was the principle. What was right and what was wrong, and money meant nothing to him. I've never met anybody like that, and I'm sure I'll never meet anyone else like it.
This is the house Cus and Mike Tyson shared in Catskill, where Mike learned not only how to box, but to become something of a boxing historian as well.
He watches and sees it. And many times I'm sure he recognizes weaknesses in the defense or attack of the others. And all these things register in his mind. And I think all of them contribute, and using his own judgment also as well, to do the kind of things that he feels will enhance and develop his potential too. Together with what I'm able to advise and suggest, I think that it has become what I believe is a winning combination.
Cus used to always talk to me about the situation. He was saying, you know, if you really took a deep interest in it, you would be champ of the world. And he would say, with no problem, you'll be champ. Because he's saying, you're just too good for these guys. Even at 14, he's saying, you know, they know more, but you're just too good. I said, really? And I didn't believe him at first, but he just kept pounding that information in me. And by the time I was 14, I began to believe it.
The fighter's got to go in there ready to handle any kind of an opposition that presents itself and do it successfully.
Cuss literally raised him in every sense. You might say that teaching him how to fight was almost an insignificant tributary to what Cuss gave Mike. Mike Tyson learned all about life from Cuss D'Amato. One of the things that Mike learned from Cuss, in addition, was how to box.
Cuss instilled so many incredible qualities into Mike. Not only made him a great fighter, but a great human being, that he still lives on in Mike.
My goal is just become a champion, you know what I mean? His goal was making me independent, making me a man. I didn't have to need him anymore, and he used to discuss that all the time.
I think I can predictably say that he will become probably the youngest heavyweight champion of all time, which title is held by Floyd Patterson. I believe he will be the youngest heavyweight champion of all time. And if he remains dedicated, interested, and without any distractions, I believe that eventually he will go down in history as the greatest heavyweight champion we've ever had.
Well, that was in 1985, and Cuss D'Amato certainly was a prophet in his first prediction. 15 months later, Mike Tyson would go on to become the youngest heavyweight champion in history. As to that second prediction, well, only the future will tell us that. We do know that Mike Tyson got his chance at the heavyweight title when the boxing world and home box office got together for a heavyweight unification series.
I believe I am the most devastating puncher in the world today. I've faced guys that could knock you out with one punch. And Frank Bruno, Mike Weaver, Tim Witherspoon. Mike Tyson has never faced a guy, an opponent, that can take him out with one punch.
Right.
If I hit Mike Tyson with my best punch, he will go out. There's no doubt about it.
Every man's a problem, you know, every man, no one should be taken lightly, but this is a fight where, as you know, I'm in great shape and I'm ready to fight, and I plan to do my best, and I plan a successful outcome.
Smith will have a big height advantage, and fighters like James Broad and Jesse Ferguson were brought in to spar.
Bonecrusher's tall, and he's a lot taller than me. So therefore, Mike's going to have to reach up at him. And that makes it, you know, it takes kind of a little bit of power off your punch when you punch up than it is when you're punching down. Bonecrusher, he'll be punching down mostly. And that'll be to his advantage.
Well, if that's an advantage for Bonecrusher Smith, and it may be, it's one of the few that boxing people see when he steps into the ring with Tyson. Still, he is one of the hardest punchers in the heavyweight division, and that could trouble Tyson. Probably Smith is the biggest puncher that Mike will have faced. But it's hard for me to see Bonecrusher standing at the end of this. I think, like most boxing people, I expect to see 2 or 3 rounds of really exciting action and eventually a Tyson win. And as we close out this look at Mike Tyson, I guess it's appropriate to look to his future. If there is a win against Bonecrusher Smith, what does the future have in store for this young champion? The people that make motion pictures every year have a phrase that's called blue skies. They say we look at the blue skies of our industry. Well, what do the skies have in store for Mike Tyson? I guess he's the only one that can really answer that.
I can't tell you what I'm going to do in my life, you know. It might come to time. I might, you know, right now, you know, I might fall in love with something and get soft and don't want to fight anymore. But, you know, I can't say that now because now, you know, I have nothing on my mind but fighting. I have nothing else to look forward to but fighting. I don't want to be an actor. And, you know, I just, basically, I like to fight. I don't want to do anything else, but I like to fight.
In November, 20-year-old Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion ever by knocking out Trevor Birbing.
That was a right to the body and an uppercut to the head, and Birbing is down. It's over. That's all, and we have a new era in boxing.
Then in December in New York City, Bonecrusher Smith destroyed WBA champion Tim Witherspoon.
Witherspoon's still in trouble. Down he goes again, and now it's over.
So, finally, we come to Las Vegas, Nevada to unify the WBA and WBC heavyweight titles tonight on HBO. WBC heavyweight champion Mike Tyson meets WBA champion James Bonecrusher Smith. It's scheduled for 12 rounds. They've manufactured an outdoor stadium in the Hilton parking lot. Ticket prices start at $75 up to $750 for a seat at ringside. The last time there was an undisputed heavyweight champion, Muhammad Ali lost his title to Leon Spinks in one of the most shocking upsets in heavyweight history. That was way back in 1978. The site? Indoors at this very hotel. 9 years later, Mike Tyson and Bonecrusher Smith will enter the ring with the WBA and WBC heavyweight titles on the line. Hello, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins, along with Larry Merchant. Sugar Ray Leonard, well, he's on special assignment. You know, it's a little bit like the Old West. There's a new fastest gun in town. There's a whole bunch of guys just outside the door of the saloon waiting to take a shot at him. Tonight, the man who challenges Mike Tyson, as the old saying goes, wears a big hat and does have some cattle. Larry Merchant, it seems we've been talking about the unification of the heavyweight title for months here on HBO. Now it's actually a fact. There is no IBF champion now. Michael Spinks has lost that title, not in the ring, mind you. But this one, then, is for everything.
There'll only be one heavyweight champion after tonight, and what we're looking for tonight is a sort of a showdown in the KO corral. And I think the excitement generally here is because for the first time in many, many years, going way back to George Foreman and Joe Frazier, there are two sluggers fighting for the heavyweight championship. Everybody expects them to go out and slug each other until one of them, or maybe even both of them, falls down. You said you knew the importance of the fight. Right. Do you think you're ready to fight Mike Tyson if he beats Bonecrusher in the next fight?
That's right. I was waiting to the outcome of this fight, and now that I've proven myself and won this fight, I should be the next person to fight Tyson, and Tyson could come on and knock me out if he won, but I'm ready to fight him.
Vanna White, never buy a vowel. Words to live by. And here's Mike Tyson making his way toward the ring now, and that is a look, of course, that has struck fear in men's hearts. Tyson. 28 up, none down, 26 knockouts, 2 fights going.
All in 2 years, Barry. His first professional fight a year from last night.
This has been his longest layoff, 104 days, a totally insignificant number, I think. You know, all the stories of no robe, no socks. Says it makes him feel like a gladiator.
Sockless, but not punchless.
That's 5 knockouts in the first 30 to 50 seconds. And, of course, as we said, a lot of people think this one is not going to go too far. You know,
the odds are 8-5, Barry, that the fight doesn't go past 4 rounds.
You know, one popular school of thought, Larry, is that you can't stand in front of Mike Tyson. You have to go side to side if you're going to have any chance at all against him. And, of course, Bonecrusher Smith's history is to come straight ahead.
I would think that there's also a theory that if you're going to fight Bonecrusher Smith, you shouldn't go straight ahead. His advantage, obviously, is in his fast hands. And in the pressure he puts on opponents. There's been a lot of talk about pressure on a young man being a champion, being so prominent, but it's the pressure he puts on opponents that's crucial.
Marvis Frazier, of course, one of 3 common opponents. Results similar amongst the bottom 2 that you see, but Marvis Frazier knocked out by Mike Tyson in 1 round. Smith lost a controversial decision in 10 rounds to Marvis Frazier, but when we talked to Bonecrusher Smith, he said, That fight really turned his career around. It gave him a lot of confidence, and most important, it made him mad. Kevin Rooney,
30-year-old trainer.
And here's Bonecrusher Smith now making his way toward the ring. Both popular fighters, incidentally. I don't think you'll hear a lot of boos here.
In exchange for the right to come second into the ring, Bonecrusher Smith gave the right to the Tyson people to name the gloves they want. And interestingly enough, Tyson's gloves are Everlast gloves instead of Ray's gloves because they feel Ray's gloves are the knockout gloves. There you see James Bonecrusher Smith's weights over in recent fights. He weighs 5 pounds more than he did when he stopped Witherspoon in the first round. He weighed 240 when he stopped Mike Weaver, another ex-champion, in the first round. He says he's lifted some weights since the Witherspoon fight to add strength to his shoulders because he wants to control Tyson from outside, he says.
And here comes Bonecrusher Smith now, being led by Emil Griffith, his handler, trainer.
Another point about those gloves, Barry, Jimmy Jacobs, the co-manager of Tyson, has been belittling the punching power of Smith all this time. But when it came down to the crunch, he decided he didn't want Smith to have the puncher's gloves. So that tells us what they really think. And then what to keep in mind here is nobody wants to fight a big slugger, not even other sluggers.
I think that's very true. As a matter of fact, he's a very intelligent guy, and he's very eloquent, but when we talked to him about what he's going to do in this fight, he was very succinct. He said, I'm going to put some leather on his ass. Here's the tail of the tape, and Smith, of course, 13 years the senior of Mike Tyson. Otherwise, really, not a lot to choose in these numbers. 14-pound.
The 11-inch reach is much discussed, but Tyson says when you go to fight a kid in the street, you don't ask how long his reach is. And here is punch stat again to give us a quantitative look at the number of punches Tyson and Smith throw in rounds. Roughly similar, but look how accurate Tyson is compared to Smith. Now here's a qualitative look at their punches. Tyson not only throws more hard punches, hooks and crosses, but lands significantly more of those punches. Again, attesting to his hand strength.
The dynamic duo, in association with the Las Vegas Hilton Hotel, presents the Super Fight, sponsored by Miller Lite. This bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Dwayne Ford, Chairman, Harold Buck, the Executive Director, the Commissioners at ringside, Mr. Sammy Macias, Mr. Sig Rogic, and Mr. Herb Santos. The WBC representatives at ringside, the president of that body, Jose Suleiman, and the representative, Ray Clark. The WBA representatives at ringside, the president of that body, Gilberto Mendoza, and the representative James Benz. The officials assigned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission for the main event of the evening. The judges are Lou Tabbitt, Dalby Shirley, and Jojo Guerra. The timekeeper is Mike Lachella. Counting at the knockdowns, Mike Morabito. The attending physicians at ringside, Doctors Donald Romeo, Flip Homansky, and Elias Ghanem. And your referee is Mills Lane. This is the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the unification of the WBC and the WBA heavyweight championships. Introducing, in the red corner, fighting out of Magnolia, North Carolina, weighing in at 233 pounds, with a professional record of 19 wins, 5 defeats, with 14 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the WBA heavyweight champion of the world, James Bonecrusher Smith. And in the blue corner, from Catskill, New York, weighing 219 pounds. He is undefeated in his professional career with 28 wins, no defeats, 26 KOs. He is the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson.
Kevin? Okay, now, step back, one step back, one little bit. Okay, now, we've gone over all the instructions in the dressing room, and if it's for the title, any questions from Mr. Smith or his chief second? Any questions from Mr. Tyson or his chief second? All right, let's get it on, come on.
You never know what's going to happen when a man gets hit harder than he's ever been hit before, and it's possible for both fighters here. This fight has already gone longer than some people expected.
Harold, how do you see it so far? First round. Tyson right on Smith's chest. Strong left jab by Tyson.
All right, don't push your hold and bounce. One jump.
There's the first right hand by Smith. Nowhere near its mark.
It's also a straight right hand, and Smith will often come from right to left. Like that. Left to right.
Step back clean. Step back, don't push. Come on.
Tyson unloading on Smith. Counter punching right hand.
Come on.
If you notice a tactic Smith is using, that he raises his arms and is trying to make Tyson punch around his arms, which is a long way to go for a much shorter man.
Come on, let's go.
So look for Tyson to try to come straight up the middle with an uppercut.
Three-punch combination, two of them landed heavily.
Step back, oh, hold on. Come on, step back.
Although he's very aggressive, Tyson prides himself on also being a good defensive fighter. He hasn't been hit solidly very often.
Step back, hold on. Hold on. Come on, man, box, come on. Step back, Mike. Step back. Step back.
Tyson does have to lunge up at him a little bit.
This hasn't turned into the train wreck everybody was looking for yet.
Now, Smith is being very patient, actually.
I've never seen anything quite like that in the ring before.
Listen, you have to finish with that left hook. Understand? You don't throw one punch at a time. You want to use the jab more. Every time you throw it, you land. Jab, hook to your left, throw the hook to the body. You understand? Right hand, left hook. Always finish with a left hook to the head. You make it finish.
Open up and take it.
Put it out on the shoulder.
Crush your gut, react on fucking side punch him. Don't close your eyes, look at him and punch.
Deep breath.
You the jab first, Crush. You hear me?
Step with it.
Take a look at what happened. The round is over a good 5 seconds. They've exchanged some words, and Tyson lost his cool. That's the first time I've ever seen him lose his cool before, during, or after a fight.
Very true. You know, another thing, too, in Smith's corner, you heard Smith say, let me have the towel down on my shoulders. And I don't know if you feel it, Larry, but there's all of a sudden a cool breeze coming through here. And a cut over the right eye of Bonecrusher Smith. We'll try to tell you how serious.
From. That's the same eye that Larry Holmes opened up. But I can't see as yet where it is.
I said the right eye. It's the left eye of Bonecrusher Smith.
Step back. Step back.
A lot of blood, but the blood right at the moment does not appear to be going into the eye, but rather alongside it, very similar to that of Tyrell Biggs.
Tyson is unable to get off those Gatling gun combinations because Smith is just thwarting him and staying away and laying on him, using his big long arms.
And Mills Lane has deducted a point from Bonecrusher Smith for holding Mike Tyson.
Smith got in a good right hand. Tyson walked right through it.
And that's significant.
The blood is leaking into the eye right now.
Yeah, it is, and I was going to say one of the differences between this cut and the cut on Tyrell Biggs is that Tyrell Biggs was fighting David Bay and not Mike Tyson.
Step back, Smith. Step back. Put your head.
This is becoming a hitting and holding contest. Not very appealing or dramatic.
Step back. Step back.
And you hear the crowd start to boo. It's the first time I've ever heard a crowd boo at a Mike Tyson fight.
What has got into Mike Tyson?
Give me that towel. You've got to move your hands.
That's it, Jimmy.
Not bad. You've got to move your hands, Crusher. Crusher, got to move your hands. Throw the right hands, Crusher. You dropped it out. Holy shit. Stop him, please.
Let's see if we can catch the butt that apparently caused this punch. Right there. Right there. There you see the blood starting to trickle already down the left eye.
1-2. 1-2, Crusher. 1-2. 1-2, Crusher. In the corner. Oh, here we go.
Tyson has made Smith look very, very awkward. Just a big lunging fellow now against the speed of Tyson, who was a difficult target because of his size in any event.
Come on.
And that was indicated in the punch stat numbers that you saw a moment ago. Only 23% effectiveness for Bonecrusher Smith.
Step back. Step back. Step back. Step back, please.
It may be that Tyson is frustrated because he's been unable to land real combinations the way he does in the gyms and on most opponents. Smith is just fighting a defensive fight, and Tyson can't do anything. There you saw him coming around the arm once again, unable to get any leverage into his punches.
Tyson hit him a very good right hook a moment ago, and that really opened the cut up a little bit more. And there's no question but that the cut is bothering Smith, because the blood is getting in the eye.
when a fighter puts as much pressure on an opponent as Tyson does, his opponent often just becomes defensive. And Smith has done a lot of that.
Smith got another straight right hand in, but it's only one punch and having no effect whatsoever on Tyson. Smith, Larry, appears just to be trying to tee off and catch Tyson on the way in.
That's his puncher's chance. Right now, it doesn't look like much of a chance.
Come on, you guys.
Tyson seems to be headhunting as well. He should be working on the body. He's having a hard time getting all the way up to his head. He has to bring down his guard.
And he usually is a devastating body puncher. He seems to be fighting a more emotional fight than I've seen him fight.
Let's see him.
Not bad.
Okay.
Tyson's corner telling him to fight more. Emil Griffith, you heard him say jab, then cross. Cut right at the moment has not opened up again, and it's actually not directly above the eye. It's more up on the forehead, but enough so that the blood does flow into the eye. Little blood now from the cut. And now Bonecrusher Smith going backwards.
We thought neither one of these fellas had a reverse gear, but Bonecrusher has just showed us his.
Watch the head. Watch the head coming in. Come on, come on, come on.
There was a big right hand by Tyson.
Smith has reduced Tyson to having to hunt for him with one shot rather than combinations.
Step back, come on, step back.
Bonecrusher may be trying to take a little bit of a blow here in this round.
There's no way to train to fight like fighting a guy like Tyson with the pressure that he puts on you by keep coming at you. It's like a quarterback going against a Chicago Bear blitz. All of a sudden, everything is speeded up, and if you don't have the quickness of mind and hand to deal with that speeded up, suddenly you look like a rank amateur, which Smith looks like here.
And as you said, he's just walking through anything that Smith offers on the way in. There's no resistance at all. The dance continues here.
Listen.
Listen. Let me get myself together.
All right.
I'll be all right.
Oh, give me. But listen, you gotta knock him out to do it.
Oh, okay.
Don't wait
for the guy. He's only looking for one shot on.
Now we'll see if he can. we're getting a good example right here of how Mike Tyson just does not allow Smith to get his punches off.
And that Mike Tyson is very quick. He sees these punches coming. They're not quick punches, and he's able to duck them very easily.
Smith saying to Tyson, come on, come on, come on, but that is merely words.
Smith appears totally confused and frustrated. That walkabout and this one right here, I have no idea what it's supposed to do.
One step back, both of you. One step back, boys. One step back. Hey, boy. Step back, one step back, clean, both of you. One step back.
Unless Smith figures out something fast, his heavyweight reign will last 85 days, and that will be it.
And it doesn't appear really that Smith has a clue right at the moment how to solve this puzzle. There is another big right hand by Tyson. That's the first one that really backed Smith up. Not really what we expected, Larry.
Smith right now is fighting basically a fight for survival, throwing a few hard punches in the hopes of connecting and making something happen.
Double right hand that time by Tyson.
And he appears to be getting tired as well.
Locked in. One step clean. Clean ball. One step. Watch out. Get back.
It's not going to get it done. And the man in the black trunks is the reason for it.
Every great fighter has had fights in which an awkward opponent has made them look something less than great. I'm not saying Mike Tyson is a great fighter yet. He's a great young fighter. But he's just against an opponent here who's in there to survive and hold as he is now.
And I must say, Bonecrusher Smith is the one fighter I did not think would fight that way. Pretty good exchange there. One punch on both parts, though.
One step back, Jim. One step back, Mike. One step back. Out of there. Look, boy.
Bonecrusher just kind of taunting Mike Tyson, and I'm not sure why.
Tyson doesn't want to get down on his chest and be held, so he's staying outside now, but with his short arms, he can't punch from outside.
I don't know, it might just be frustration on the part of Bonecrusher Smith. He hasn't been able to hit him the conventional way. Big left hand.
50, Chief. 50.
Scratching me when you break us. There's a left hand. And now Tyson moves in.
All right, we step back, Smith. We step back. We step back, bro. Step back clean, go forward. One step back clean. Attaboy, one step back.
$750 ringside for this.
Pretty hard to believe. Could have gone to see Wayne Newton.
Step back, on. Have to go. Whoa. Get off that net. Hey, go. Hey, ho. Jim, get off that net. Come on. Get off, hey, get off the net. Come on, here we go.
Earlier, Barry, I mentioned how other heavyweights didn't think as much of Tyson, with the apparent exception of Michael Spinks, who's given up his title so he doesn't have to fight him.
Get off that net. Get off that
Right
net.
now, he's making those heavyweights a little braver.
Come on, Mike. Back one step back, both of you. Here we go.
A lopsided and basically uninteresting fight.
The only interesting thing here is to watch Tyson and how he tries to deal with this. And I don't think he's dealing with it right. I mean, it's a frustrating fight. It's a hard fight. Smith just isn't there to be punched. But Tyson doesn't seem to be going about it professionally to try to break him down in some way. Punching to the body, perhaps.
I don't know if you heard Tyson say when he went back to his corner after the last round, he said he doesn't want to fight. There was a body shot. That was not a punch. That was not a punch.
Tyson got off the floor and looked at Smith with disdain, as if to say, are you kidding me? You think that's a punch? Smith's eye springs open again. Smith landed two decent left hands.
And he took one right there.
Well, Smith instructed Smith to try to throw some uppercuts as Tyson comes in on him.
Get off that net. Come on, go. Get off the net, Kim. You know better than that. Come on, get off the net.
Strikes me as just that Tyson is just there so quickly that you just can't get set to punch.
All right, Mike, watch the hit. Watch the hit. Watch the hit.
I don't recall Tyson throwing any uppercuts in this fight. It appears to me that what Smith has been instructed to do is to hold his arms up once again so that Smith's roundhouse punches can't get to his head. And I think that he's got to go to the body and come up with some uppercuts in order to hurt Smith and land something solid.
All right, come on, one step back. Step back. Come on, Smith. You're tighten up. Come on. Step back. Step back. Come on.
I have a question, Barry. You think Tyson looks impressive enough to fight Tyrell Biggs in his next fight?
Come on, step back. We have to penalize your game here. It doesn't happen if you don't keep holding. Come on.
Relatively, it makes Tyrell Biggs' performance look a little better, though.
Step back, Mike.
Tyson had a pretty good left hand there.
Step back. Here we go. Step back, hold. Just hold. I punch him. Hold it. Head, head. Come on.
There was a straight left hand by Tyson. Tyson was unable to really throw too many combinations in this fight.
Time. Go here. One more. 1 point here.
Another point being deducted for holding. Second time.
Bill Zane is trying to get them fight. Get them to fight.
All right, come on, clean. Come on, here we go.
That uppercut by Smith was just a little short.
Step back. Step back, free. Come on, let him go. Step back. Here we go.
This is a sort of test of Tyson's concentration in a way. He's winning so easily that he doesn't want to make a very bad mistake and just get nailed.
And I'm sure tucked somewhere in the back of Mike Tyson's head is the Smith-Bruno fight when Bruno came out of nowhere after losing the fight very similarly to this one to knock out Frank Bruno. Admittedly, Bruno is not Mike Tyson.
All right, get one back, one step. Guys locked in. Everyone step back. Here we go. All right, one step back. Both of you. Come on, get out. One step back. Clean. Had a boy hope.
There was a right hand. Big right hand.
Come on, step back. Come on, let's go step. Come on. Okay, wait, hold on. Step back. Okay, come on, step back. Come on.
Tyson has been headhunting throughout this fight, and I don't recall him getting any instructions from his corner to stop it either.
No, in fact, the only instructions were jab, jab, jab.
To that show.
No, I don't think so. And if we do, it would be.
Come on now, you guys. Let's go. It's box. Come on.
We wonder what they're going to take out of this for the highlights.
All right, one step back. Quick punching, Mike. Quick punching. One step back, Smitty. One step back.
Not Mike Tyson's fault. It takes two to fight.
I just think Smith is so frustrated by Tyson and was early on that he just kind of said the hell with him.
He's been wearing a big cowboy hat around here all week, and right now I'd have to say he's all hat and no cattle.
Come on, step back. Come on. Step back. Step
cut has opened up again over the eye of Bonecrusher Smith.
I imagine Larry Holmes is sitting there in eastern Pennsylvania and thinking, well, if they come up with the money, I just might take a shot at this.
Yeah, that's the thing. A fight like this brings them all out of the woodwork.
George Foreman is starting his comeback on Monday.
Get back, come on.
Point out that Bonecrusher Smith has only been down once in his career, and that was in his first fight.
In his defense, Bonecrusher is apparently trying his best. That just isn't good enough.
This is your last round to Mike Tyson.
Step back, come on, Mike. Step back, come on, Smitty, come on.
But there are in fact 2 to go.
Step ahead, come on. Step back, come on, we'll step back both of them. Come on, Smitty, elbow hit. All right, come on.
One thing I can tell you, Bonecrusher Smith tomorrow morning is going to feel like his face was hit with a bag of rocks.
Step back, Mike. We'll step back. Here we go. Step back, Jim. Hold on. Step back. Here we go.
But Mike Tyson is a prideful athlete, and he really wants to look better. If he doesn't, it's just not there. Some days, an outstanding athlete or an outstanding team just doesn't have the opponent opposite that can make him do his stuff.
And that's certainly been the case tonight. I think the biggest thing is that we didn't expect it to be that way.
Yep.
Step back. Step back. Here we go.
There was a body shot by Mike Tyson, one of the few he's thrown.
He should have had about 50 more by now.
Come on, Mike. Come on, Boone. Oh, here we go.
That's a big difference between Tyson and Joe Frazier. Tyson has been compared to Frazier for obvious reasons. Joe Frazier was a murderous body puncher. He didn't care who he was in there with. He killed the body first, and the head will go. It's dissatisfying because prize fighting is drama and theater, and when you have a great athlete and you want to see him perform and tested, and he's not performing and he's not being tested.
All right, step back. Big last good round, you guys. Come on, one step back. Here we go. step back. Come on, one step back clean. Both of them. Come on, step back. Here we go. Here we go.
What we're going to start reading about and hearing about Tyson now is, come on, fellas, he's not as good as Ali, he's not as good as Frazier. And in truth, he's not as good as they are. He hasn't had the record to show it yet.
I think
but it's been said about every champion.
And it's been said about Mike Tyson by Mike Tyson also. He has said he's not great yet.
Joe Louis wasn't as good as Dempsey, and Ali wasn't as good as Louis.
Speaking of theater.
Well, we needed something. I didn't know that it would be comic relief coming from either of these kind of serious fellows.
Well, a minute and 15 to go in this one. Assuming we've kept you awake.
Tyson is trying everything he can to try to get in one good punch. They are being booed, and I imagine even Tyson is the target of some of them, but Smith should be the target.
Variation on a theme of a barnyard cheer.
Well, they are yelling Tyson, Tyson. They want him to end this dramatically as well if he can.
There was a right hand by Smith. That actually backed Tyson up.
That was the best punch of the fight. We thought we would see that in the first 10 seconds, not in the last 10 seconds.
And it is over.
It was too late, it was too little for Bonecrusher Smith. Where was that an hour ago?
And I'm sure that's exactly what Bonecrusher Smith is going to be asking himself. Styles make fights. That has been said on so many occasions, and that was the case here tonight, only in this case, Styles did not make a fight. And it was a dance in large part for 12 rounds. Tyson trying to do everything he could. Let's take another look at that action right at the end, and I'm sure Mike Tyson, the next time we talk to him, is going to say that was one of the hardest shots he's taken. It definitely backed him up. Here's another look at it. Smith coming from down around the shoe tops. A wild swinging and holding. That was pretty much the story of the fight. Winging left hand as you look from our up top camera. And there's a look at a face that is going to smart come tomorrow. Take a look at the numbers from this fight. Tyson, of course, much more active and much more accurate. As Bonecrusher Smith with only a 23.
Judge Lou Tabbitt scores 120, 106. Judge Jojo Guerra scores 119, 107. And Judge Dalby Shirley scores 119, 107. For the new WBA, WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Iron Mike Tyson.
A popular verdict. At least the result was popular, not so much the way the result was attained. Ari Merchant trying to get his way over to the winner, and still the champion Mike Tyson, and he is with Mike Tyson right now. So let's go up to the ring and Larry Merchant. Larry, you got it.
Hi, Mike. You are now the WBA, WBC champion, the only heavyweight champion now in the world. Do you feel satisfied after that fight?
Well, I feel good, but I don't feel satisfied. But as you know, he was just trying to survive. I thought he was going to come out there and try to beat me up, like he said.
Well, he was going to try to win.
Could you tell very early in the fight that he couldn't hit you with any punches? He was frustrated and he was just going to hold on?
You know what else I noticed? When I threw my jab, I was hitting him with my jab and I was hurting him with my jab. But I feel like, he didn't want to fight. He didn't want to win. He didn't want to win at all.
Was there anything you think you could have done to break him down? For example, you went to the body very, very rarely.
I know. It was one of those moves I saw. I had one of those guys that was just trying to throw one punch and catch me. And I knew guys like that would never hit me. And the last round, he hit me with a good shot. He was a hard puncher because I felt the punches in my arm and stuff. But like I said, I could take a good punch. And now I proved to everybody. In the last round, he threw a good punch, and I felt it, but I came right back.
After the first round and the second round, you had words. After the first round, you threw a punch at him, which is so uncharacteristic. Were you frustrated that early?
I wasn't frustrated, but inside, he kept trying to hold me, and he was trying to push his gloves in my face and fight dirty.
But you seemed to lose your cool generally because of what seemed like frustration and not being able to do what Mike Tyson could do best.
Well, this I thought was a good fight for me because most of these guys are going to fight me like this. These are supposed to be the best heavyweights of my day. And, they have no respect. They say I'm a young boy. I haven't fought anybody. Now, what can Bonecrusher say? Is he added to the list of the bums I fought? Then if I didn't knock him out, he fought like that, that makes him a bum too. Ask him if he a bum. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to win.
You want to win.
You're a student of fight history. Have other heavyweight champions, can you recall, have had fights like this?
Dempsey, Dempsey when he fought the guy in Montana. No, it wasn't
Gibbons.
A boring fight. Everybody else saw only the last round when Dempsey was looking great. It was a boring 15-round fight. Carpenter.
Can you find solace in that? Can you go on to the next fight? Everybody's going to say, well, maybe Mike Tyson isn't all that good.
Well, these things happen. But, the thing that's more detrimental, when I go back in the gym and I go back home and leave the ring, I got to hear it from my trainer, and I'm waiting for it, and I know it's going to be murderous.
Well, Mike, you feel awful bad for a guy who did awful good and pitched a shutout and is the only heavyweight champion in the world. Barry?
Tyson not only has the right stuff, he has the right mind. I think he's going to be there a long time. I can't foresee anyone beating Mike Tyson, not now.